What's good, YouTube? It's Adam from I'm a Music Mogul. Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're gonna go ahead and remake from scratch Eminem's HOUDINI. Tempo for this one is 127 beats per minute, and the track is produced by Luis Resto Eminem. Let's go ahead and start off with that synth key stuff. We're gonna go ahead and go over to Logic's instrument browser. We're gonna go over to vintage Clav, and we're gonna bring in the 70s Clav preset. Let's go ahead and draw on that chord progression. Next, let's go ahead and layer that up with like a Supersaw type of sound. We're gonna create a new software instrument track. We're gonna go ahead and bring in Logic's ES2 synthesizer. We're gonna design this one from scratch. We're gonna use the default setting that loads up. Let's come back to the sound design and just copy down that pattern first, and we get this. So it sounds like this on its own. We're gonna go ahead and just pitch this down, just be too high. That's a little bit too static to begin with. So what we're gonna do here is every odd note over here, we're gonna lower up the velocities on those notes so that it gives us sort of like a bounce or a wave. So let's go to our velocity and just lower that up a bit. It's not so static. Next, let's go ahead and open up our ES2. We're gonna go over to unison and just turn that on to make it nice and full. Let's pull up the voices once again. Let's bring in some detuning here. Add in some resonance, some chorus. And next, let's go ahead and adjust the envelope. We'll soften up the attack. Pull down the sustain. Just to give us that choppy keyboard sound, and then we layer it up with the clav. Next, let's go ahead and group these two tracks together. We'll just open up the EQ. We'll take out some of the low mids here and boost the highs a bit. And then what we're gonna do over here on the group, we're gonna go ahead and bring in a little bit of reverb here. We want it very subtle. And we'll bring in a little bit of distortion on it as well. We'll go to Logic's Chroma Glow. And we'll bring in a preset. We can go under keys, and I'm going to bring in the clean keys preset. Just add a little bit of saturation there. All right, next, let's get to that bass guitar. We're going to go ahead and create a new software instrument track. We're going to go over to our bass instruments, and we will bring in the punchy bottom preset. Let's go ahead and draw on that pattern. There's no notice wrong here. And next, let's get to the drums. We're creating a new software instrument track. We're gonna go ahead to our library browser. We're gonna bring in the drum kit I put together for this tutorial, the HOUDINI drum kit. I think I passed it here. Here it is right here, the HOUDINI drum kit. We're gonna start off with the snare sound, and it's gonna go something like this on the 2s and 4s. Next, let's get to the kick. now let's get to the hi-hats. I'm going to create a new software instrument track. And for this, we're going to bring in Logic's drum kit designer right over here. We're going to use the preset that loads up, the default preset that loads up with it. Let's just duplicate that. Actually, before we do, we're also going to add in some velocity changes to the hi-hat so that it has a nice ride to it. So every second note, we're going to lower up the velocity so that it has a nice wave to it. So we'll do something like that, and then we'll repeat. And then at the top, we need a crash. And we need a crash left right here. I'm just going to open up the drum kit designer and go to the closed hat and just pull up the volume a little bit. All right, so what I'm going to do here is just open up some reverb as well on this kit and just do something very little here. All right, next let's move on to the next section. We're going to go ahead and just duplicate this pattern. Let's move it over once over. We're going to take out the crash on this here. And on the bass guitar, the pattern switches up a little bit just at the end. So instead of the notes going down, it's going to go up. And then we're going to go ahead and layer up that bass with another sound. And for this sound, we're actually going to bring in a saxophone. Let's go to Studio Horns. We'll go to Single Instruments and we'll go to Studio Tenor Sax 1. We're going to copy down the same pattern. So because the note doesn't exist on the instrument here so low, we're going to go ahead and pitch this up one octave. And what we're going to do is going to bounce this in place, Control B on your keyboard. So because we pitched it up one in the MIDI, we're going to go ahead and pitch that down one octave in the audio. So we're going to select our region and go Shift Option Arrow down. Let's go ahead and take out some of the lows here. And then at the end of this section, we get some nice bells. We're going to go ahead and just duplicate this once again, just so that we have something. And at the end of the pattern, let's go ahead and take everything out, except let's say the kick and the hi-hat. Just we want one hi-hat in there, just like that. When it stops for the break, and we're going to bring in a new software instrument track, and let's bring in Logic's Sculpture. And we're going to bring in a presets. We'll go over to, where are we going to here? We're going to go to Modeled Bells and we're going to go to the Felt Bells preset. Let's go ahead and draw on that pattern. So that rings out a little bit too much. So what we got to do is open up Logic Sculpture and just bring down the release here. And we're going to bring down the volume as well. And then it goes right back into the next section. This section here, we're just going to get in those strings for the chorus. Let's go ahead and create a new software instrument track. We'll go over to Logic's library browser once again. We're going to go over to Studio Strings and we're going to bring in the Studio Violins 1 preset. So for the chord progression, we're basically using the same chords from the Clav stuff. So let's go ahead and just copy that down. And what we're going to do here is just take out all of these. We'll stretch those out. So the only thing here I'm going to change here is that note right there. So I don't want the string so sharp. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in some reverb just to push that in the back a little bit. We'll bring a largest chroma verb. We'll put it in a big space here. Something like that. Something like that. Now that's still a little loud, so I'm just gonna open up the strings plugin and just bring down the volume. And that's pretty much all there is to the beat. Next, I'm just gonna go ahead and mix it, give it a truncated arrangement, and when we come back, we'll take a listen to the full remake we just put together, Eminem's Houdini. That right there is Eminem's Houdini remade in Logic Pro. For you Logic Pro users out there, I'm going to go ahead and save this entire session for you. Place it as a downloadable link below this video. If you don't use Logic, I got your back as well. I'm going to go ahead and export all the MIDI stems, audio stems, and of course include the drum kit that you heard in this remake. You can find that playback down below the like button as well. If you do have any questions on this or have any suggestions for future videos, let's go and talk down below. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Later.